What would you do if you found yourself standing at the edge of an ocean, knowing that the enemy was closing in behind you? Your options seem impossible. No escape, no way out. Yet in an instant a miracle unfolds before your eyes. The Red Sea splits, and you are given the chance to walk to freedom. This wasn't just any historical event, it was a divine intervention that changed the course of history. Today we're diving into the incredible story of the Red Sea, an event that proved freedom was possible against all odds. Welcome to Story of Grace, where we explore the greatest stories of hope and divine intervention. A historical snapshot. The Red Sea miracle didn't just mark a moment of escape for the Israelites. It was the beginning of a new chapter in their story. In the ancient world, Egypt had been a mighty empire, and the Israelites had been enslaved there for generations. Under the leadership of Moses, they had witnessed the destruction of Egypt's power through the plagues, which were nothing short of divine retribution. But when Pharaoh finally relented and let them go, the Israelites were left with a monumental challenge: the vast, impassable Red Sea. For the Israelites, the journey to freedom was filled with uncertainty. The sea stood before them as a wall, and behind them, the Egyptian army was closing in fast, ready to recapture them. With no clear path ahead, it seemed like the Israelites' hope for freedom was about to be crushed. The Red Sea appeared to be the final obstacle, and many wondered how they would escape this impossible situation. What happened at the Red Sea? As the Israelites stood at the edge of the water, they had no idea what was about to happen. The enemy was closing in, the water stretched endlessly in front of them, and there seemed to be no way out. But in a moment of sheer faith, Moses lifted his staff, and that's when the impossible occurred. The waters of the Red Sea began to separate, creating a dry path down the middle. Imagine the sheer wonder and disbelief the Israelites must have felt as they saw the towering walls of water on either side and a safe passage opened for them to walk through. This wasn't just a natural event or a stroke of luck. It was an act of divine intervention, a miraculous event that defied all logic and reason. It was a moment that would forever define the Israelites' journey toward freedom. The question of whether they would escape slavery had been answered in the most miraculous way possible. The Israelites crossed the Red Sea. As they stepped onto the dry ground, the Israelites must have felt both awe and fear. Can you imagine walking between two towering walls of water? The sound of the waves crashing, the sight of the water rising on either side, and the feeling of being caught between danger and salvation. It was a surreal experience, a moment where faith and trust in the divine were put to the ultimate test. Every step they took was a step closer to freedom, away from the oppression they had known for centuries. As they walked through the sea, it must have felt as if the world around them was shifting. The Israelites were no longer just escaping. They were being reborn as a free people. The miracle they were witnessing was far more than just a physical act of deliverance. It was a spiritual rebirth. With every step, they left behind the world of slavery and oppression, moving toward a future full of unknowns, but full of possibility as well. But the story didn't end with the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. As soon as they reached the other side, Pharaoh's army followed, intent on recapturing them. Yet, just as the Israelites were safe, the waters returned, engulfing the Egyptian soldiers and drowning them. The enemy that had pursued them was now defeated. The Israelites were free. The aftermath of the miracle. What does this miracle mean for us today? The parting of the Red Sea wasn't just a miraculous escape. It was a pivotal moment in the Israelites' spiritual journey. It wasn't just a physical barrier that was broken. It was a spiritual one. The Israelites had witnessed the power of God firsthand, and they knew that nothing, not even the strongest army in the world, could stand against them when they were following God's will. The Red Sea became a symbol of their liberation, a moment when their faith was tested and their hope was rewarded. This story teaches us that no matter how impossible our situations may seem, there's always hope for a breakthrough. When we feel trapped by our circumstances, we need to remember the Israelites' journey and trust that, just as the Red Sea parted, a path will appear when we least expect it. The miracle of the Red Sea is a reminder that the impossible can become possible through faith, determination, and divine intervention. The significance of faith in the miracle. When we look at the parting of the Red Sea, we see an event rooted deeply in faith. The Israelites didn't know how they would escape, and yet they trusted that Moses, their leader, was following God's guidance. They had no way of knowing that the sea would part, yet they still took that first step into the water. It wasn't the parting of the Red Sea that saved them. It was their faith that led them to take that first step, even when the situation seemed hopeless. Faith is the cornerstone of this story. It was through their trust in God that the Israelites were able to walk through the impossible. In times of hardship, it's easy to give up or lose hope. But the story of the Red Sea reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, faith can provide the strength to keep moving forward. The Israelites' faith was the key to their freedom. Without it, the miracle would never have happened. The Red Sea as a symbol of hope. The Red Sea miracle has remained a powerful symbol of hope for centuries. It reminds us that no matter how difficult our circumstances, there's always a possibility of change. We may face challenges that seem insurmountable, but just like the Israelites, we can find a way through. The Red Sea is a symbol of resilience, of the ability to overcome obstacles and break through barriers that seem impossible. It teaches us that there's always a way forward, even when it appears that all doors are closed. In modern life, we often find ourselves facing challenges that feel just as overwhelming as the Red Sea once did for the Israelites. Whether it's a personal struggle, a financial crisis, or a tough relationship, the obstacles may seem insurmountable. But the Red Sea story teaches us that no matter how impossible things seem, there is always a way forward, if we have faith and courage to keep going. Modern lessons from the Red Sea miracle. The miracle of the Red Sea is more than just a historical event. It's a story filled with lessons that apply to our lives today. We may not face armies chasing us or have the ocean part in front of us, but we all face challenges that seem impossible to overcome. Whether it's a difficult job, a personal loss, or any other obstacle, the lessons of the Red Sea can guide us. When faced with seemingly impossible situations, we can take inspiration from the Israelites. They didn't know how they would be saved, but they took the first step with faith. That's the key to overcoming obstacles, taking that first step, even when you don't know how things will work out. When you move forward with faith and determination, miracles can happen. If the story of the Red Sea has inspired you today, remember that no matter what obstacles you're facing, there's always hope for a breakthrough. Keep the faith and keep moving forward. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Story of Grace for more inspiring content. Stay encouraged, and remember, your breakthrough could be just around the corner.